I would say that prior to the year 2004, though we were not manufacturing petrochemicals, but our association with the industry always existed as its primary feedstock supplier as well as return stream user. All our ventures were planned with customer focus and aspirations in mind. For Indian Oil, all customers, bulk or retail, are equal and have the right to quality products and efficient services. Indian Oil makes over 50 polymer grades and covers 80% of plastics applications. And we constantly align ourselves to customer needs. Currently, we are exporting around 5 to 6% of our total production of polymer. To grow further, and during H1, we have grown by around 20% over H1 last year. And recently, Government of India has enhanced customs duty on PVC from 7.5% to 10%, which may attract many players to set up manufacturing capacities. I think that Government of India is aggressively promoting the petrochemicals manufacturing capabilities in the country and has proposed many structural changes to incentivize its production. It is estimated, ma'am, that around rupees 6 lakh crores of petrochemical projects are currently under study conceptualization stage in the country. Though as of now, the country is projected to remain net deficit in petrochemicals for the next decade. The biggest learning for everyone is that nothing except change is constant, and we need to build enough flexibilities in our business processes to align to any dynamic situation.
Indian Oil Corporation is ranked as 151st amongst the world's largest corporates in Fortune's Global 500 listing. IOCL has over 33,500 strong team and over last 6 decades has been fueling India's core sector for economic development. Indian Oil's business interests encompassing the entire hydrocarbon value chain from refining, pipeline, transportation and marketing to exploration and production of crude oil and gas, petrochemicals, gas marketing, alternate energy sources, and globalization of downstream operations. The corporation is envisaging an investment of over rupees 30,000 crores in the petchem business in the coming years. These projects will utilize product streams from existing refineries of Indian Oil, thereby achieving better exploitation of the hydrocarbon value chain. Indian Oil has set up a world-scale linear alkyl benzene plant at Gujarat Refinery and an integrated paraxylene purified terephthalic acid plant at Panipat. A naphtha cracker complex with downstream polymer units is also in operation at Panipat. Indian Oil has recently come up with the polypropylene plant at Paradeep, Odisha. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us today on the show Shri Dhananjay Srivastava, logging in from Delhi. He has over 3 decades of rich experience in petroleum industry and is currently heading the petrochemicals division for IOCL. He also has an overseas experience with Lanka IOCL as the head of sales and HR. Mr. Srivastava has been on the board of Indian Oil Middle East for a year and is currently on the board of Indian Synthetic Rubber Limited. A very warm welcome to the show, Insights with Nidhi Varma.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to share my thoughts today with my industry colleagues in this challenging pandemic scenario. Hello, everyone.
I'm saying hello on everyone's behalf, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
IOCL is the largest fuel producer and marketing company in the country. We will limit today's discussion on petchem products only. IOC has set up a substantial capacity in petchem of approximately 2 million metric tons per annum polymers and about 500,000 MTS of PTA. You were relatively a late entrant in petchem, sir. How difficult or easy was it for IOCL to enter the market and capture the customers?
Ma'am, Indian Oil is today the second largest petrochemical producer in the country with rated capacity of over 3.2 million metric tons per annum. In addition to the products mentioned by you, we are also producers of surfactants, world's largest single train kerosene to lab plant of capacity 120 KTA at Gujarat, glycols, which is 325 KTA, comprising of MEG, DEG, TEG plant at Panipat, and 138 KTA butadiene plant also at Panipat. Additionally, we also manufacture styrene butadiene rubber, a plant capacity of 120 KTA in JV with Messrs. TSRC Taiwan at Panipat. Now, on the subject of how easy or difficult it was for us to enter into petrochemicals, I would say that prior to the year 2004, though we were not manufacturing petrochemicals, but our association with the industry always existed as its primary feedstock supplier as well as return stream user. When the decision to venture into petrochemicals was taken, the major challenge was to live up to the expectations of the customers as well as the trust which Indian Oil brand name inspired. To start with, we selected the best of the technologies. Project execution and logistics was always a strength of Indian Oil, and all our projects were completed in record time. We also created a separate petrochemicals strategic business unit for effective market penetration. This SBU had 5 exclusive subgroups classified product-wise: LAB, aromatics and chemicals, polymers, and function-wise, which is primarily logistics and exports. In addition to regional and field setup to offer a regional customer service, in addition to that, additionally, we also appointed 56 dedicated channel partners and operated 11 regional stock centers for effective customer reach and service. All our ventures were planned with customer focus and aspirations in mind. Rest all is history, ma'am. As you know that Indian Oil petrochemical products have received overwhelming response ever since its launch.
So what is the one USP you think that why customers go for IOCL? Polymer customers have many choices for raw materials, domestic as well as imports.
Ma'am, as the commercial enterprise with the largest customer interface in the country, Indian Oil reaches its products to every nook and corner of the country through its network of over 53,000 customer touchpoints, surmounting the challenges of tough terrain, climate, and accessibility. For Indian Oil, all customers, bulk or retail, are equal and have the right to quality products and efficient services. Having been the company of choice for millions of customers and a legacy of serving generations of customers, Indian Oil's petrochemicals team widely focused on benchmarking, product differentiation, value addition, quality assurance, and extensive customer reach. We employed leading technologies across all our product segment-wise, be it Basil or Nova Chemicals for polyolefins, Invista for PTA, Scientific Design for glycols, UOP Detal for LAB, and BASF for butadiene. Today, Indian Oil makes over 50 polymer grades and covers 80% of plastics applications. Our grades are accepted by majority of the OEMs, and as on date, we have over 170 OEM approvals. Customer feedback is a continuous process, and we constantly align ourselves to customer needs and priorities. We also have 2 state-of-the-art product application and development center facilities at Panipat and Paradip to promote customer support and application development. PATC helps the customers in testing and development of new applications as well as researches on new formulations and grades in line with the market requirement. Many of our grades have become benchmark in the industry today. As I have mentioned before, that fulfilling customer expectation and aspiration has been our primary endeavor, and this entwined with our core values of care, passion, innovation, and trust has helped IOC to enhance customer experience and has been the prime differentiating factor with our competitors.
Thank you for sharing, sir. What has come out is that customer seems to be the base of the philosophy, as well as the mission, as well as the entire operational structure of IOCL. That is coming out very clearly.
Absolutely, absolutely, ma'am.
Yeah. Dhananjay, sir, most petchem capacities are in Western India, right? You started with Panipat and then in Orissa, where you already have GAIL in the north and also HPL in east. Do you feel that location of your plants offer any locational advantage to the service of your customers?
Ma'am, actually all Indian Oil petrochemical complexes are integrated with its refineries, be it Panipat, Paradip or Vadodara. Refinery integration provides us with uninterrupted supply of feedstock as well as utilization of return streams. In addition, both north and eastern and southern market were underrepresented in terms of production capacities, and thus helped us enhance customer service, as well as made economic sense. Indian Oil tries to deliver best value to customer in all aspects of customer service.
Excellent, sir. So how much polymers and PTI are exporting, and share of production, and to which countries?
Ma'am, we have exported to around 70 countries and we offer the complete slate of petrochemical products and intermediates. Currently, we are exporting around 5 to 6% of our total production of polymers.
There's a whole lot of scope to, I'm sure you're focusing on exports more, sir, now.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Dhananjay, sir, coming back to the domestic markets, how was IOC's performance for H1 compared to last year? Has the demand come back to what it was pre-COVID?
Ma'am, the rest of the industries, Indian Oil too was affected during the initial phase of pandemic, and we had to also take phase shutdown of our production lines during April 20. However, the recovery has been very fast since the beginning of unlock in May 20, and we expect to grow further. And during H1, we have grown by around 20% over H1 last year.
That's such a music to the ears. That means there has
Yeah.
been extremely more than even double-digit growth. We are going to 20+%, is it?
We have done well, and customers have shown a very good response.
Excellent. So that actually becomes an indicator of how the H2 will also be. So if you've already 20% higher in H1, H2 will definitely be more, and that also results in showing that all the operations of all our converters are also must be going that much high.
Yes, our focus is on customers and the converters, and we will work to the best of our ability to serve them in the best possible manner.
It's a little tricky one, but I'm sure you'll give us the detailed answer. How do you see the petchem prices for the rest of the year? Crude prices have been at the lowest end. Demand is still to come up for that. What is your view on that, sir?
Ma'am, after witnessing unprecedented fall in the month of April, crude oil prices have recovered to the level of around $40 per barrel. Yes. Many analysts are predicting a range-bound level of $40 to $50 per barrel in the near term. Petchem prices, though, follow a broad pattern of crude prices, but are also dependent on other feedstocks, intermediates, which may not be sourced from crude. In addition, the prices also get affected by demand from other usage segments. Hence, it is fairly complex to predict the prices, but we feel that it could be under pressure in the near term from the global demand side.
IOC is planning another investment of rupees 30,000 crores in the next years. What are the expansion plans for IOCL in India for petchem, sir? Will you be expanding capacities in the current product or going for new products? Which will be the locations for the petchem expansions, and what will be the new products?
Ma'am, very important and varied question. Actually, we have set up petrochemical complexes, as I mentioned earlier, at Gujarat, Panipat, and Paradeep over the last 1.5 decades, with a capex of over rupees 25,000 crores and a firm plan to invest another 30,000 crores over the next 5 years. The plans are both towards consolidation as well as expansion into new niche segments. Major capacity expansions are planned towards the following. At Paradeep in Odisha, we are planning to put up a MEG plant of 357 KTA and a PX PTA plant of 1,200 KTA. At Dumad, Gujarat, we are planning to set up a 153 KTA of acrylic acid, oxo alcohol, and a butyl acrylate plant, and also expansion of the LAB plant at Gujarat. At Panipat, Haryana, we are planning expansion of PNCB cracker and its downstream units, expansion of PX PTA, which is currently 553 KTA, by another 150 KTA. And at Barauni, Bihar, we plan to set up a polypropylene plant of 200 KTA.
Excellent, sir. The blueprint seems to be very well laid out. So the expansion plans will be catering to the domestic demand, or you will also plan to focus on the export?
Ma'am, serving the domestic customers remains our top priority, but we also intend to expand our international petrochemical footprints. We also look at international markets for business expansions and diversification in the petrochemical field.
Understood, sir. Dhananjay, sir, PVC is one product where India is deficit of more than 2 million metric tons per annum, heavily dependent on imports. What is IOCL's view on setting up PVC capacities? Our 10th Vinyl India, which got delayed, now we've planned it for 8th, 9th April
Okay, ma'am.
coming year. Hopefully, the COVID situation gets settled by then. But the first question that comes in Vinyl India is, why not new capacities of PVC in India?
Ma'am, we are keenly looking at PVC prospects, and recently Government of India has enhanced customs duty on PVC from 7.5% to 10%, which may attract many players to set up manufacturing capacities.
Okay, sir. So how do you see the future of polymers in India? Do you think Indian producers will keep on adding 1 million metric tons capacity per year, or import dependency will go up? What do you think, sir?
Ma'am, during 2019-20, the per capita consumption of polymers in the country stood at around 12 kgs against the world average of 35 kgs. With the increase in urbanization, hygiene, healthcare, infrastructure, etc., the demand for petrochemicals in the country is expected to see a rise in the immediate future. I think that Government of India is aggressively promoting the petrochemicals manufacturing capabilities in the country and has proposed many structural changes to incentivize its production. Various reform measures in the PCPR policy, FTAs, etc., are also being pursued and would surely attract players into the manufacturing field. We have also seen renewed interest from international players in the Indian petrochemical sector. It is estimated, ma'am, that around rupees 6 lakh crores of petrochemical projects are currently under study conceptualization stage in the country. And I think these plans would fructify soon, and Indian producers will keep on adding new plants to meet the rising demand of petrochemicals. Though as of now, the country is projected to remain net deficit in petrochemicals for the next decade.
So there's a huge scope for expansions everywhere, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Dhananjay, sir, this pandemic has been kind of a game changer for everyone, personally, business, way, processes, everything. What are the learnings that you would like to share with our audience from this pandemic, which you personally have taken home and want to share with our audience, sir?
Ma'am, this pandemic has been unprecedented in its impact on the economy as well as the day-to-day living. The biggest learning for everyone is that nothing except change is constant, and we need to build enough flexibilities in our business processes to align to any dynamic situation. We also salute the enterprise shown by our downstream processors, who, despite all the odds and limited resources, showed enough resilience to stand back and start the manufacturing activities again.
Excellent, sir. I am also very, very proud of all our processing industry and, of course, all our resin producers who stood the ground and became our front end warriors from our industry side. Dhananjay, sir, thank you so very much. IOCL has always been the front runner, and all our processing industry look towards IOCL for guidance, and your optimistic view as well as guidance will be a take home which will benefit our entire industry. We thank you so very much, sir, and we shall soon hope to see you in the near future. Till then, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.